From a little cover, I got my dreams inside. Wrestling on the mat, I go and put up a fight. With every hold and slam, I rise to the peak. Now as Professor Bear, it's my strength that they see. Roaring with knowledge like a lion so proud. In this wrestling world, I'm standing out loud. I'm Professor Bear, got the passion to spare. Wrestling's my life, with the power to share. From the roots to ropes, in the spotlight we gleam. Chasing victory dreams, living out the theme. Now my WOSN, my squad.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul.
With my forest crew, we'll always ride. In the wrestling world, watch us claim the prize.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I am Professor Bear, and this is a Bear's Thought. Guys, girls, we're coming down to the wire on Promotion Appreciation Month. It's been such a great adventure to get to talk to so many different promoters and different bookers to learn the insides of the business. Not too much, but just to have a better understanding of what we take for granted as wrestling fans, the hard work, the sacrifices, and everything that these men and women do for us to have a couple of hours of entertainment that we can forget about our issues and problems. It's such an amazing thing. Plus, learning more about it, you get again more of an appreciation for what they do for us. And I hope with you watching these will make you, if you get a chance to meet any promoter or booker, you will tell them thank you for all their hard work and sacrifice for us, because it's definitely needed and appreciated. With that being said, today my guest is the owner of Spartan Wrestling from Alabama, which, by the way, is a little special to me because even though I'm born and raised in Tennessee, I'm an Alabama kid. My family's from there, so pretty much anything comes from Alabama, I'm super excited about. This is Joe. Joe, how are you doing today, sir?
I am doing great, sir. We didn't really even have to say anything. I could have just listened to your intro music for like.
I appreciate that. Before we dive into it, I'm a big firm believer in knowing what you are supporting and learning. So what I have done, I have put up their logo. And the reason why I did that, wrestling is worldwide, but with it being worldwide, a lot of times companies have similar names or actually have the exact same name. So I want you to be able to tell when you go to look for who you are getting and making sure you have the right company. And if you're anything like Professor Bear, when things are laid out to you easier, you're appreciative. So I thought, let me make a QR code so you can scan it, because I know all you young kids love doing easy stuff, don't want to put in the hard work. But I digress. Uh, use the UR code, and it takes you straight to their YouTube page. With that being said, Joe, the question I generally ask 99% of the time, first question I ask my guest is, how did you become a wrestling fan?
I started out as a little kid as just a big old comic book nerd, and that has not changed.
Same
But
here, same here.
exactly, but when I discovered pro wrestling, I would say around the time of WrestleMania 2 or 3, I thought, once I got into it, I started watching it a lot. I was like, well, this is just live action comic books. And it's got superheroes and villains, and that's how I started. My first wrestling show that I went to in person wasn't actually even in person. They set up WrestleMania 3 at an auditorium, the same place where they would do live wrestling shows. And it's Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh.
And I right there in downtown Birmingham, and I saw WrestleMania 3 on closed circuit with a live crowd, and I thought, well, this is it for me. I'm in.
Boutwell brings back so many memories for me. Just because I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, and we used to get Continental Championship Wrestling.
Yes.
And oh my God, if it was not being set up for the Coliseum, it was always Boutwell. And I knew it well because my family is from Alabama, and every time we go through Birmingham, we had to go right past Boutwell. And unfortunately, I never got to personally go to there. But just driving by, it felt like the biggest thing in the world to me.
Yeah. I started out my announcing career at Boutwell, or that's where it started. And then I got to work with a lot of people from Continental. After that, there was a federation called Wrestle Birmingham, and they were doing a live show at Boutwell. I was working at my day job is I'm an editor and a writer. I was working at the local newspaper, and I went down there to do a story about Wrestle Birmingham. And the founder of Wrestle Birmingham, Linda Marks, said, "We really need an announcer for the show." And I was like, "I can do that." And the rest is history. I've been doing it ever since. But just being in Boutwell, and of course, in between, WrestleMania 3 and doing the story, was a lot of years. And maybe 17 years. Anyway, a long time. But I'd seen a lot of shows in Boutwell in between those two times. ECW came. WCW came a lot. Like Nitro taped in Boutwell several times.
Right.
And so the fact that I was part of a show at Boutwell was bonkers.
So with that, where did your journey from getting into the business to owning your own promotion, how did that take place?
Well, to be clear, I'm not the actual owner of Spartan Pro Wrestling. I'm the general manager. There's several owners. I'm in storyline, I'm the general manager, but it kind of spiraled out of my own control. Like I started out being the storyline guy, and now I kind of do a lot of general manager type things. So it's all good. I will do whatever those guys, whatever any of these folks want me to do. But and that's what I say. I'm usually the main announcer for the Spartan shows, and I'll tell people I'm the general manager, I'm the announcer, I'll commentate, I'll clean the bathrooms if you need me to. Just I like being there and being a part of it.
Right. Definitely can understand that. So how did it go that you got into Spartan?
That's another weird story. I was working a freelance job at the post office over a Christmas break. And I do not recommend that.
Uh,
Do not do that.
My ex-wife did that, and
Oh,
woo, yeah,
yes. And I was only doing it for like a temp thing.
yeah,
And
same.
I happened to meet a pro wrestler named Johnny who worked there, and he was just booting up what would become Spartan Pro Wrestling. And the same thing. He said, I said, I can announce stuff, and he goes, you're in. and, and from there, it's been, now that was a good maybe 7 years ago. And I've been fairly busy with wrestling most weekends since then.
Oh wow.
It's not just Spartan. There are, and obviously you know this, over in Tennessee, there are little wrestling federations everywhere.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful thing. If you are a wrestling fan anywhere, you can find one within not a big drive. And so there are other federations around within driving distance of, the Birmingham area. And I've been lucky enough to be invited to announce at those shows too. So Spartan's the home base. And then I'll make, one shots at other places.
Right. And I love that because not only do you get a chance to sharpen your skills, but you get to meet different wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
You get to, geez, the word is slipping my mind. You get to make contacts and different things, and that's always a great thing. I like you said, I have promotions around me. A matter of fact, tomorrow I was supposed to do probably 4 interviews. I had to cut it down to 2 because I got invited to a promotion. They really, really want me there. So I'm like, okay, we'll make it. And it's just fun. And outside of being a fan of stuff, of the business, it makes me proud when people invite me and they actually want me there and want my opinion. So I'm like, I must be doing something right.
Yeah. It's a good, obviously as fans from the outside, we love this stuff anyway, and we would watch it even if we weren't involved.
Exactly.
But the fact that we are involved, I still kind of pinch myself. And that I think is key to the enjoyment of it and to doing a good job at it is I'm not going to stop being excited. And back in the back of my head, I'm still the 12-year-old kid. And I say the back of my head, really, I'm in the front of my head too.
Yeah.
I'm still that kid. And the notion that I would be part of pro wrestling blows my mind. And then I just get to go do it.
And it's funny because I always thought to myself, especially at my age and being so late in age to get these opportunities, like you, I'm like, wow, I cannot believe I'm doing this. I cannot.
Mhm.
And then the things that have came from the short, I say short, but 3 years is still a good amount of time. The blessings that I've been given,
Yeah.
it blows me away when I have conversations with people and they honestly want my opinion. I'm like, why? I'm just a fan, but you're a knowledgeable fan. We can hear it, we can see it. And that makes you feel like, man, that's just so much respect
Yeah.
for again. And I just felt like at one point it was just me, but I'm glad to know I'm not the only one. And respectfully, we are in the end, I think we all are wrestling fans,
Yeah.
and we try to do our best when we get a chance to give our input or do something in the wrestling business. We try to make that little kid inside of all of us proud that we're doing it.
Indeed.
So tell me about Spartan Wrestling.
Spartan Wrestling is in Gadsden, Alabama. It's about an hour outside of Birmingham, and it's a little bit of a historic town. There's a giant waterfall park close by, and just down the street from the mall is this covered. It's not a covered bridge. It's a big old bridge and they do all kinds of festivals and events. All there's a waterway, and it's gorgeous. The mall is situated directly on the waterway, and unfortunately, the entire time we've been there, we keep meaning to throw somebody in that river, and we have not. That is my goal. I'm going in at some point, and if we just haven't gotten around to or figured out the logistics of how to do it yet, but it's so pretty, and just the idea. We even as a gimmick was Poseidon, and he had the trident
Yep.
and we were going to we're going to film him as his intro. He's coming up out of the water, and we never got around to do it. But it's the river and the lake are still there. We just got to get around to it. But
I can tell you, again, as a kid and going into Alabama, my family is more in the Birmingham. I mean, not Birmingham. The oh, geez, my brain went blank.
when you're talking
It's
about Alabama, that
southern.
happens.
Yeah, it's more southern Alabama. So we go through there all the time. One of the places we always stopped as a kid was Gaston.
Oh.
My father always stopped in Gaston. It became just a ritual for us. So I know the area real well. I've been there when my kids were younger and their first trip. I stopped there and made them understand why I loved it so much. They didn't, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
But yes, I know Gaston very, very well.
And we got Johnny Slaughter, the guy that I mentioned earlier, and Joshua O'Hagan, a bunch of guys who were working at what became Spartan. They bought up an old movie theater inside Gadsden Mall, like one of those 2-screen movie theaters.
Uh-huh.
And they renovated the whole thing. And now one half of it is our show arena, and the other half is the Spartan Academy.
Oh, wow.
And so we do both in the same building. And when we do shows, we don't have to, we're very spoiled. We don't have to take apart and put back together the ring every night.
Man, that in itself is amazing.
it is. Well, I am so spoiled. I will tell anybody, if you don't have to put up and tear down that ring, then you're golden. But we don't have to. We have that set up, and it looks cool in there. And obviously, thank you for the QR codes and the linkage. Y'all go there and check us out. And we've got music, the whole shebang. We like to put it. We like to film it live, like we tape it live like a TV show.
Right. Man, that just sounds amazing. So how long has Spartan been around?
But in this, let's see. When I started, it was called Victory Championship Wrestling.
Oh, right.
We were in a little a smaller town in Alabama, and when we left there, we went bigger. We got like a promotion to Gadsden, and got in the mall, and we changed the name to Spartan Pro Wrestling then, and we've been there, I think, 6 years, and almost every week for 6 years we've done shows, at least several times a month. Right now we're doing like 2 shows on Saturday, on 2 Saturdays a month, and every Tuesday. And we set up they set up the company as a nonprofit. So any sponsors we have, they can deduct the thing off taxes. And we also, on Tuesdays, no charge, free show.
Oh, wow.
And so we have gotten, we'll fill up the room with, casual people just walking by. It don't cost nothing, come watch pro wrestling. And we've gotten, that's been kind of the biggest marketing tool, because get them in there and show it to them, and then they get hooked.
Right.
And so many of the fans that I talked to, that's how they ended up coming back every time. Not because it was free, but because that was what got them in the door.
Right.
And but we're chugging along.
Man, that I can't think of any other promotions that come to mind that has used that strategy, and it's that is a great strategy, because you are using not just to get them in the door, but y'all have to be doing something great to make people come back. They like and love your product. So that is such a great marketing tool that I would have never thought of.
Now it bites us in the butt sometimes, right. But on one Saturday, at least one Saturday a month, we charge for those shows. But those are kind of our bigger shows, like our little pay-per-views, sort of. I mean, if you want to think of it like that.
Right.
But no, it's there are so many other things you could be doing, and the idea of just walking out of your house and taking the family out to dinner, and then just enjoying a show for 2 hours, and it doesn't cost anything, I think it's a good bargain.
Yeah. Again, and then see, as both, and I think you can attest to this, if you get the kids hooked, they're gonna bug their parents until they come, and then if it's just an even bigger bonus if the parents get hooked, because now you have a show, you have something. Hey, Tuesdays we're doing this, and then they're having a show Saturday, we're going Saturday. It's a great, I love that marketing. It's such an amazing thing.
It is. I'm never gonna not love signing autographs for kids. And all I'm doing, I'm just the goody two shoes general manager announcer guy. But when the kids come up and they want to talk about wrestling, man, I am all in. And that's just a good sign, that shows you got them.
Yes. What was it like the first time you were asked for an autograph? What was going through your mind?
I was like, are you sure the wrestlers are over there? Yeah. But yeah, we last year, no, it wasn't last year, it was a few years ago. Team USA's baseball crew happened to be driving through, and we told them, hey, we've got a wrestling show. And they came in, and they, after the show, wanted pictures with me. And I just announced, what are you, you're the Team USA, for goodness sake. But no, it's a, humbling, yes, but also at the same time, the opposite. Humbling and also a giant ego boost. When I have, this has only happened, I mean, it's happened a time or two. Like when someone recognizes me when I'm like at a store, that is too much fun. And especially if my wife or my daughter are with me, every time when it's over, they'll go, we're never going to hear the end of this, are we? I'm like, no, you will not. It is a blast when complete strangers enjoy your work. And I'll talk about it with anybody. It's absolutely a blast.
I'm gonna do a little backtracking. Who is your all-time favorite wrestler that you wish you could have announced them in a match, or have you announced in a match?
I have got another thing that I do with my nerdy spare time is at sci-fi conventions. I host interviews and panels and stuff. And I've gotten to interview, actors, and also wrestlers have come through. And I got to, a few years ago, introduce Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh.
And I asked him beforehand, I said, I'm an announcer. It turns out he had worked at the Federation years ago, Wrestle Birmingham, and so he knew the lady who ran it, who brought me in, And I said, can I do the wrestling intro for you? And he was like, yeah, man, yeah, do it. And I introduced him from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And he said, well, here's a little inside baseball. I'm not from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And he said, I'm not even sure if I've been there. But that was pretty huge. And I've gotten to work with several of the folks from Continental, like Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden. And one time with Adrian Street, like at the very beginning. And so just once, but I got to hold the door open for Miss Linda, who had a laundry basket with shoulder pads and metal spikes sitting on the top. So getting to meet those folks has been nutso. But I wish to answer, that's a long way around to answer your question. I would have loved to announce for Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, yeah.
Just, it's the voice, the whole shebang, the polka dots. I'm a huge Dusty fan.
So I got a chance to meet Dusty.
Oh.
And when I tell you, it was such a heartbreaking moment. I was so hurt by it.
Oh,
It was it now I can look back and laugh at it. But at the time, broke my heart so bad that I said I would never cheer for Dusty again. I was at a fan fest, super excited. I had just previously that same morning, I talked to Ric Flair's son.
ah,
Me and him talked for about an hour straight. He
wow.
was such a great guy, David Flair.
Mm.
So I'm already hyped up and I'm excited. I'm standing in line. I'm trying to not mark out. I'm like, okay, just calm down, calm down. He's just a person. He's just a person. So I'm next one in line. He talking to the guy in my head. Yes, yes, the American Dream guy. Yes. I walked up to him. He turned his back on me.
Oh,
He started talking to someone else, and I'm just standing there. And I knew it hurt me. And I knew I made a face. Dusty's I assumed that it was his manager. He saw the look on my face, and I'm just assuming that I had a really pissed off look, where his manager bumped him like, Dusty, you good? And Dusty turned around and he talked to him. I could not tell you what Dusty said to me to this day. I was so hurt and bothered by that. After I left, I was like, that's it. Never again will I cheer for Dusty Rhodes. About a year later, I just watching wrestling like I usually do. And I saw Dusty and I thought to myself, and I could hear this voice. Baby, you know I didn't do that on purpose, baby. You know that the American dream, he had so much fanfare and he had to talk to everybody, baby. So just give the dream a chance, baby. And right there, I'm just again in my head, I'm like, okay, Dusty, you're right. I'm sorry. Like I did something. I'm sorry. We're friends again, Dusty. So that was my meeting of Dusty Rhodes.
I've hosted Q&As with Dustin, but I never met Dusty. But I've done something very silly a few times. I made up around Christmas time. I read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" in Dusty Rhodes' voice. And I'll send you the video. I'm very proud of it. I don't know if anybody else is proud of it, but I had a blast doing it. And it's just one of those things, it's just part of the experience of pro wrestling is when you get to meet these folks. And I mean, it's even crazier to work with them. But
Yes.
And like I said, I mean, I haven't worked with, I would say, huge names or huge but the fact that the thing is, I think the point I'm attempting to make is everybody's in the same wrestling business, whether
Yes.
you're John Cena or whether you're, me in Gadsden, Alabama. We're all in the wrestling business.
Yes.
And the thing is, when you meet wrestlers higher up on the chain, they believe that. They feel that way because they, more often than not, came from where you are. And they were, again, more often than not, big wrestling nerds like you were when you were a kid. And I understand, obviously everybody has stage fright when you meet
Right.
people, when you meet celebrities. And I have it too. I just like actively fight against it.
Right.
It's like the only time I think I've really had it bad was with Ricky Steamboat. who was kind of always my favorite.
Right.
And I hosted a Q&A with him at Dragon Con in Atlanta, and I stumbled over my words, and I'm like, this is not me. What is happening? But it was Ricky Steamboat. And I, like other people that I've met, no problems, whether I was a huge fans or, you know, minor fans or, but Ricky Steamboat, I couldn't put a sentence together when I was talking to him.
One of like you said, we get a chance to meet some of our idols and stuff. I was blessed to have Robert Fuller. I mean, excuse me, I say Robert. Ron Fuller on my show,
Cool.
and the first thing I did, I went through my spiel, and I try to make it exciting and hook people and everything, and give them their just due. I'm into it. I'm into it. I said, this is Ron White. I was like, no. I was like, I don't know. And then right then I just broke out of it. And I was like, I don't know why I am so nervous. I said, I apologize. He said, that's fine. Ron Wright was a great guy too. So
That's
I'm
right,
okay
yeah.
with that. So I was like, oh, but I know why, because the Fullers were a part of my family history with everything that my father was the main wrestling fan. So that meant all of us, we were going to know about it, learn about it. So like I told Ron, I was like, you play a part not in just my history in wrestling, but my family. And I feel like I owe you something that I have to do great by you, not just right, great. Because if it wasn't for everything you and your family did, I don't know where I would be as a wrestling fan. I can truly say that you helped me become the professor in wrestling. And it meant a lot. And to get that praise from him, and where we were supposed to do a 30-minute interview, went 45, and he was okay with it. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, and he praised me and enjoyed the conversation. And I thought to myself, wow, you having legends. Had that with Ricky Morton.
Oh, nice.
And here's the thing too, who in the world, I would have never in my lifetime imagined that I have Ricky Morton's phone number. I can call him, and me and him can have just friendly conversation. Don't even have to be about wrestling. Downtown Bruno, just all these legends that are such amazing people outside of wrestling. They're amazing people. They're just very nice and humble. And it's an amazing thing. And that's why every time I meet anyone, because it's starting to the point now, I go to a wrestling show and people know me. And it's like, you know me. What? Okay. And it's like, I make sure anything they want to talk about, I make sure I talk to them.
Yeah.
I give them the time. And because I think to myself, if I was in their shoes, I would love the person I'm talking to give me a little time. So I try to do that. When I find out my program is people in the UK listen to me.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
What? And like you, being humble and being available. So I definitely get that. And you could talk to, if you could talk to all the wrestlers I've talked to, not a one of them would tell you I was disrespectful. I'm very humble and nice. The only thing they would say about me maybe is, man, I couldn't get them to shut up. That'd be about it. But again, um, I definitely understand being in the limelight, and it's not big, and I'm glad it's not, but it's special.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah. It's what the way when I describe being part of the show to people who are not, avid fans, I tell them it's like doing improv for 3 hours in a row. You know how people do stand-up comedy and do improv shows for like 10 minutes or 15, or big time dudes do an hour or so. But I'm part of a different world for like 2 or 3 hours, and I got to be the guy who's in that world for that amount of time. And then as long as fans can see us, I'm on. The switch is flipped on, that whole time. And I love it. If I'm having and what I hope to share with fans like you were talking about, um, not everybody has great days. Not everybody has, you know, a lot of people are dealing with a lot of dumpster fires in their lives and jobs, and that they took time out to sit around for 2 hours or 3 hours and watch pro wrestling. I want to do everything I can to help them deal with, or maybe forget about for a little while, but hopefully give them a little bit of, a confidence boost, or a little pep in their step, so they can, handle what gets thrown at them. That I feel like is my purpose.
Right. And I I love hearing that, and we're so similar in the way we think and what we do. Again, it took me a while, and I still at the point. I don't say I'm in the wrestling business. I say I'm on the outskirts. I'm a
Yeah,
junior. I'm a junior that's getting the privilege of learning,
yeah,
and I always um, do things I think is respectful.
yeah.
Uh,
Always just listen, just 100%, just listen all the time.
yes, and I got the privilege of something I never in a million years would have thought could happen to me. I got put into a Hall of Fame,
Oh,
and me and the gentleman that uh, suggested me and him went back and forth. He's like, man, you should go. I like, mm-mm. I was like, that's taken away from the men and women who done this for years, broke their bodies, broke their households. Didn't know. I just feel like it's disrespectful. We went back and forth, and then he had to open my eyes to the fact of what I'm doing for the business. And eventually I started to understand where he was coming with it. But I think what got me to say, okay, no, great, thank you. I love to be inducted. Thank you. Was he threatened me because he was an ex wrestler? He said next time he seen me, if I didn't say yes, he was going to put me in a headlock until I did. So I like, I'm too old. My body ain't that sturdy. Okay, we'll go. We'll be okay.
okay, fine.
Yes, like no problem. If you would have led with this could have stopped a lot of it.
Lead with the threat.
And again, it's those things like that that just make me smile. When I first sold some merchandise to a young man, he couldn't have been like 10 at the most, and he bought a shirt. I made sure we took a picture of him, and put him made sure that he's going to be on our updated website. It's certain things that I've like, wow, I don't take it for granted. I like people say, enjoy the moment, and I try to enjoy every moment I get, and it's such an amazing thing, and to be able to see the power of making the fans happy. God, that is such an amazing feel.
It's I it's like just inject that feeling into me as often as you can. I a few times when I've come out onto when the show starts and I come out, a few times people have chanted Joe, and that's the worst thing they could possibly have done for me, because now I want it. Now now I gotta have it.
Yes.
But one time, like the first time they did it, I said, "Well, I thought Samoa Joe was behind me. What are you people doing?" But it is an absolute blast. And I'll be like you said, being a tangent on the sidebars of pro wrestling is more than I ever thought would be anything that I'd be able to do. And here we are, and for both of us. And it's neat. It's just, that's really the best thing I can. It's kind of an old school way to say it, or an old timey way to say it, but it's just neat. I mean, I get to go and play for a few hours, every time. Now that's not discounting all the work that everybody puts in and everybody does, but because there are people who work at Spartan Pro Wrestling who, this is their dream. This is they want to do this full time and go hard and go huge.
Yes.
And and I'm not just saying this because I know these guys and I've seen their work. A lot of them can make it from our area, from the Alabama area. There's a lot of guys who I think have a shot. But there's nothing wrong with, if you just want to work during the week and come be a weekend warrior, that's fine too.
Oh yeah.
It's a unique profession. It's not like anything else. And it just, the fact that we've been able to plug into it somehow is, and have an effect on audience members, like you were talking about.
Yes.
That's the dream.
It's one of the things that for me, I always think of when I go to a show or go to different shows. I think to myself, what would I be without this? Where would I be? Because I've been able to unlock such a part of my creativity, the different things. Like, I talk to wrestlers all the time, and we get into conversations, and maybe they want a critique of what I think, and when I hear stuff like that, I think, why me? Why would you want to hear my opinion? I'm just a fan. But again, that makes me think too, appreciate this. You have a gift, a blessing that God has given you. Enjoy it. Be humble, and anything you can do. The old wrestling phrase, and I know you're going to know this one, is leave the business better than you found it.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do every time, every interview. Anything I do that has to do with wrestling, I try to elevate it to the next level as best I can.
Mhm.
So after I'm gone, wrestling will go on years down the road. My kids will be hopefully enjoying it, and it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Now,
Everything that you said.
one question I want to ask: tell me about the championships that Spartan Wrestling has.
We have our heavyweight championship. We've got a middleweight title. We just debuted a women's title for the first time. And I haven't seen it physically yet, but we started having a title for our Tuesday night shows,
Oh
just
wow!
exclusive to the Tuesday night show. And I've seen the belt design, but I haven't seen it in person. I'm hoping to do that this weekend. But the heavyweight championship is kind of a you kind of feel like you're kind of carrying the show when you're the heavyweight guy, and
Right,
all the folks that have had the heavyweight championship put on them, I mean, they treat it like that I've met, and it's not just a trinket, or it's not just something they'll throw in their bag or not carry around with them. These folks, the champs that we have had in Spartan, they see it as a progression, a promotion, a reward, and I think that's what it is. In hopefully at any federation.
yeah,
Was that your question?
yeah. And that's the thing, because you have to understand that they see something in you to represent the brand, and if you don't look at it that way, you if you won't have it long.
Right.
You won't. You have to, and like you said, it's an elevation, and no matter what your goal is in wrestling, if you're not wanting to be the head of any company, what are you doing there? What's your purpose? If I just wanted to be, well, I'd be just content to wrestle on TV. What?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone should have the goal of wanting to be the top, even if you don't reach that goal, because it's going to push you, drive you, keep
Mhm.
you going. And if you just hey, and I don't really mean no disrespect by this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you want a participation trophy, don't get into wrestling.
No,
Don't.
no.
You got to have you. If you don't have that ego, you don't have to be so massively blown, but you have to have an ego to succeed in wrestling. And
100% you do. And it's like fake it till you make it
it's
is
that's
a
it.
good way to put it. If you don't have an ego, or if you don't um, think you can be the top dude, pretend like you can. And it eventually fiction becomes reality. There are guys who have been our champion who I remember their first day at Spartan, and they started out as trainees in the academy, and they would put them under masks and have them go out and get basically murdered by the big dudes, the experienced
Right.
guys. And now several of those guys have been big champs. Major, in fact, the guy Rome Senju is our champion right now. He is a young dude, and I announced his matches when he was in underneath the Viper costume, and we always said it was the same guy, but sometimes it'd be a big dude, sometimes a little guy, sometimes a Caucasian dude, sometimes, and we would always say, well, that's the same guy.
Love it. Love it. I want to thank you
Yeah.
for not just doing the show, but for everything you have given the wrestling business.
Thank you.
I'm a firm believer in giving people their flowers, and people. I really don't think that people realize what type of team sport wrestling is, because no matter, you can have the greatest two wrestlers in the world, but it's not going to mean anything if you don't have a referee.
Right.
It's not going to mean anything if you don't have an announce team to help tell the story. It's not going to mean anything if you don't have the cameraman in the right places to get the right shots. It's not going to mean anything if you don't have someone in the concession stands willing to sell and keep the fans satisfied. So for me, it's the ultimate team sport. It's even more of a team sport than football, because a lot of people do not get the credit that they deserve, or stay in the background, and they're perfectly okay with that. But the reason, again, for me giving you your flowers is because I see so much of me in you. I see us being so happy to be in the business, to do whatever we can to make it keep going forward and succeeding and living our childhood dreams. And that lets me know the business is in a great spot, in great hands. And sometimes, even though you may not want it, you need to hear thank you for all you do. And I wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. For same here. You know, I need to get up to Tennessee sometime, and you need to come down here. I would love for you to visit us at Spartan sometime.
And it's funny because I've been trying to get out more to go to different promotions. And like I said, Alabama is my home. So I have family down there. So I would definitely make a trip down there.
Cool.
And I will let you know.
Yeah. Heck yeah. You could do a live show from the Spartan place. Yeah.
You know, and that's been part of my thought process, to expand my to do different things, to get out of my comfort zone. And that would be a great series too. Go to different promotions and do a live podcast from it. So
yeah,
I'm definitely in the mind and hopefully working towards that goal.
Excellent.
Again, thank you so very much.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you, and nice to. I think we could probably be here 3 more hours.
That I always tell people, and they when they ask me, like, how do you tell you have a great show? I say, well, generally there's 2 things. One, when I don't have to talk a lot, that lets me know that the person I'm talking to is very engaged into the conversation. And 2, when I'm looking at the time, I'm like, whoa, man, we already went that long? And it's like, wow, because we don't win an hour, and it feels like 5 minutes to me.
Yeah.
So that's, again, I appreciate you, and we would definitely be talking again very soon. Guys, girls, thank you for joining me around the campfire for another amazing interview. Again, I feel like most of your professional wrestlers are kids at heart. We just love what we do. We're happy to put on a show that helps people forget about their troubles for a few hours, to just have fun. And that's the thing that wrestling hopefully brings you when you watch it, and you have such an amazing time. As always, before I leave, I always say these words. I'm not going to stop. But please, please, please go support your local wrestling promotion. It is an amazing thing. You will get a feel that cannot be replicated from the big companies. Now, I'm not saying that the big companies are worse than the indies or the indies are worse than the big company. What I'm saying is it's a different feel that when you get to watch wrestling in an intimate setting, you will find it being so much more. You get to actually have a conversations with the wrestlers afterwards. You can get autographs signed by them. You can buy their merch. It is such a great feel that you get to do these things. And the plus to it is you go in with money and you can come out with money. It doesn't cost you a whole lot, especially if you have a family on a budget. It is 9 times out of 10, it is a great family budget that hopefully your entire family will enjoy. And I guarantee you, your kids will have a memory that's going to last them a lifetime. So please do that and go support your local wrestling promotion. With that being said, I am Professor Bear. This has been a Bear's Thought, and we will catch you around the campfire again really, really soon. Y'all have a great evening.